All right, it's a beautiful time here, back here at the Bridge Connect. We are live at the Bridge Networks Youth Church, and it's been one of those services where you just had to sit, reflect, and begin to do some, like I always say, self appraisal. Just ask yourself, where am I really in all this? What's my worship like? And so I'm going to be going straight to Pastor Ten. What would you say is a striking thing for you today, and what are those adjustments that you're going to be making as regards worship?
All right. So for me, I believe Pastor touched on some very key things. And when he started with saying that worshippers, I don't remember the word he used. Worship has lost.
It's altar.
No, the author of worship has been lost.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Was what I wanted to say. And he started telling us about how we've turned worship into songs, how we've turned into, and that example he gave using the three individuals, Pastor Dapo, the two
Yes.
pastors that were
Yes.
just instructing.
Yeah.
And we've gone for concert, we've been to churches, we see that they've turned the stage
Into
to
performance.
performance. In
Yes.
fact, I used to call them merchants in gospel.
Mm.
In gospel music.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot
Yeah.
of them right now.
So many.
So many. You would think they actually have the spirit of God behind them, but they're actually performers. And of course, I seemingly my spirit dictates that, and I don't count them. I
Yeah.
just But then it's good that we should know that for the author of worship to be brought back is you are worshiping God, you're leading people into the presence of God. You are not just trying to be a conductor. The funny thing is when you go to parks, for those of us that used to travel before, when you get there, the conductor, they don't go with the bus. So that's the way some people are becoming
Yeah.
with worship songs. Yeah, they just use it to bring people to maybe to their platform or something, and then they themselves are not even involved. Surprisingly, God will show up, God will still bless people, but the people who are actually at the center of it all might never get any benefit. So for me, I think Pastor has touched on a lot of things, and it's trotting. Worship is warfare. I love that. In fact, as I was saying it, I remember many years I had an issue in my place of work, and this I can't remember the song, but it's Kinude, hey, yeah,
Oh yeah.
I was sleeping, I woke up with that song. I was like, why would I be singing this kind of song? But when
Okay.
I got to the office, I know God
That is a
that
kid
was
that has to go with you.
so that makes me to realize that really worship is a
It's warfare.
warfare. At
Yeah.
times, God comes and He has to
Yeah.
do the
Yeah.
dirty job, and of course, at times there's worship where we need to sit down for direction. You wake up sometimes and you're just rolling on the floor, and God is telling you go in this direction. You'll be like, why should I go in this direction? But then it's God given direction. So in the midst of worshiping God, there are a lot of benefits. So for me, I think that's just the summary.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, and I think you also is like you spoke about the things that I also wanted to say too, and because that was my own key point too, to say that there are so many things embedded in worship, so many benefits that if we don't take the time to sit down and to actually assess things, we will never get the benefit. And for me, thankfully using the illustration um from the video by Mr. Leke Alder about the fact that you must believe that God understands charts. He understands, no, don't just believe that he understands.
That God is intelligent.
He's intelligent. So, for example, if I'm an artisan, if I'm an electrician, I have to believe that God knows about how to fix wires.
Yes.
And then with that, and the worship that I'm going to do is not simply to just say, God, come and show me. It's just to experience him. Because it's in the experience that I get to see all of that. But if I don't take the time to come in worship first, to come and first experience him, he said, those that come must come believing that he is and is the rewarder. So I must first come in that light, not simply yes, I'm coming for instruction to for download, but first off is to experience him, to have that intimacy, because out of that intimacy is where all of those things now begin to come out from. And I also and just it's just the fact, because we're also busy. All of us are claiming busy, 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 busy. When do we actually have time to really worship? I mean, like worship, not to say I woke up in the morning, and I go like to really worship, to say, God, I just worship you. I just want to experience you today, and let your glory just be all over. And that's it for me.
Okay, I think what we're doing is still looking at worship as singing. Because if we look at the classic example of what Mr. Alder did, he wasn't singing at any point. There was no music. In fact, he was asleep when he said the Spirit of God woke him up and said, "Go on your knees, open your Bible, look at this map." There was no music whatsoever. And when Don Wen sings that song, when the music fades and all is stripped away, Bedman, sorry, I don't know why I always think he's Don Wen, and all is stripped away. I think we need to get to the point where it's a life of worship. I know we've done alignment over a period of time, when your life is in alignment. Bible says, "I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice." But you see, the pastor keeps saying, "A living sacrifice will always call up the altar." But if you look at, was that verse 1 or verse 2?
That's the one.
That's verse 1. Then verse 2 says, "Do not be conformed to the, but be renewed."
One is, do not be confirmed.
Thank you. Because, yeah, thank you. That's what was in my head. Because when you are not conformed, when you are transformed by the renewing of you are living a life of worship. So in instances where, like Pastor said, is it that when the demon is at your door, you want to start singing, it's not going to work. There's already something that is flowing through us that in the time of problem, we're able to download and respond. So I think we need to shift from songs, because we're also teaching our children that sing. So I hear my children say, "Oh, mom, I'm leading praise and worship in church in school today. I need a list of praise songs and worship." And I have to tell them over and over and over again, "Hello, worship is beyond that song you want to sing." And that's why I'm coming to you. Don't think I forgot. I'm not coming to you because you're going to touch on this. That's why I love Theophilus Sunday. There's something Pastor said that when you come to the altar, that Pastor Damola and the two Pastor Dakbos, you're not a director. You're not a conductor. It's what you experience, what you are doing in the secret place is what you come to do in church or on that platform. And all you are doing is dragging us along with you out of the flow. And that's one thing why I love Theophilus Sunday for. He'll tell you, "I'm not doing anything for you. I'm here. I'm talking to my own God." And you realize that even without anything, you also just have a desire to begin to worship and begin to pray. I want you to talk to us on a life of worship and take us away from singing. Because it means that if we don't sing, then we have not started. Yeah.
But I want to start by, would like to correcting, or we should rephrase this idea of saying God knows physics. It's physics.
Thank you. Thank you.
So he's not
physics
it's
himself.
physics, it's
Yeah.
maths, it's biology.
Yes.
Because everything that we know is
He
just
created them. Yes. they
he's
come
just
from him.
giving us
Yes.
part of it. So
Yes.
it's not that he knows, he is. He's everything. And Pastor also helped us by giving us an example of Abraham when he was about to, he actually called sacrifice worship. So I think everything about worship is being in awe of God, of our Maker. So definitely music can be part of it,
Yeah.
but it's not all of it. So it's actually, worship should actually be a lifestyle, because when we do things to the glory of God, we are actually worshiping God. Like Pastor normally give us this example that you don't wake up in the morning and say, "Money or devil, I worship you. You just do things that
Yes.
glorifies them.
Yes.
So anytime we are glorifying God in our place of
Yes.
work, in our family,
Yes.
everywhere we
Yes.
go, we are
It's
actually worshiping God.
Awesome.
So worship is is
Encompassing.
all encompassing.
Yes.
Yes, it's just not about.
You want to say
singing
something?
songs.
Awesome. Like I love that. Especially when you said God, you can't say God knows.
Yes.
He's the author of it. He is. His physics, and I experienced that in university when I've said it over. When I failed math, I did computer science in university, and I hated math right from time. Only to go and meet
In future.
in fact, only to go and meet core math. And so I remember failing 100 level maths, four math courses I had in the entire 100 level. I had failed them. Second year, first semester, I already failed the math courses already. So by the time I was doing second semester 200 level, I already had 6 Fs. So my life was already going down the journey for school. But I remember sitting down with God one day and saying, but wait, math, geometry. You are the one that put sun and moon, stars, and they don't clash. So there's a particular calculation that you have put in place that you know. I said, oh yeah, come and explain these courses to me. And I kid you not. By the end of second semester, when I had to, because I now did summer, so by the time my HOD was now calling out second semester 20 level result, he kept calling. He was calling the courses. This one A, this one B, this one, and then he looked up. Adiayo. So what happened to you before? I laugh. Say, sir, you don't understand, but it's God, and I can say that I have never failed a course since then. I always bring up that principle. Once it becomes difficult, I feel that my brain is not taking this. You are the God of this course, of this, and I've told my children that as well. And so it was a beautiful thing when I heard Dr. Adegbola when we had that interview. And then I said, the word math is logos. Who is logos?
Yeah.
Hey, there's a spirit of math. God, why didn't they tell me? I would have been able to apply it since, And I said that because you need to understand that, especially if you're a student or you're an adult and you're a believer and you are struggling in an area. That's why I say it's an aberration for a believer to struggle in certain things. And the areas of my life that I'm also saying, I have a revelation of you in this, and this, and this, and this. I need to understand the revelation of you in these certain areas of my life. That's how we worship. If there's some place in your life, something in your life that the enemy is still getting the upper hand, you have not discovered God in that thing yet, and you need to. It may be finances, it may be health, it may be children, it may be marriage. He's the source of it all, and that's how we worship God. We worship him in spirit and in the truth of who he is. Says they that know their God shall worship him. Worship him what in spirit and in truth. But you say you will do exploits, so you need to go back and listen to this message. Really, I just feel very excited and passionate about this because this is the foundation of how we win, of how we wage war, because we have everything we need. And I'm talking to myself. We have everything. I'm telling you, we have everything we need to succeed. We have everything we need to showcase the glory of God, because the world is meant to see us and know that our God exists and our God is able. But until we understand the truth and the substance of who our God is, we're not able to do that. So I want you to go back, listen to this message. And as a principle, the word says faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. And there are so many avenues that you can hear. And when you want us to join us tomorrow, Monday, by 9 p.m. for Half Night of Prayer with Pastor Francis. On Tuesdays, we have intercessory prayer. Pastor Isaac is handling that. And on Wednesday, we have Kingdom Conversations with Bakayede Hegbira. And this month, we're looking at the security pandemic. And we're so grateful to God for the release of the children from Ogbomosho. Whatever the enemy had planned, whatever the strategy of men, whatever had been done, as far as I'm concerned, the will of God and the counsel of God prevailed over the desires of men, and that's what we're grateful for. And in the same way, we're also trusting God for the release of every other person who is in captivity, whether it was Kogi, whether it was Borno, whether it was those Kwara, whether it was those people coming back from a Christian conference, all of them. Let's just keep praying for them. The Owiwe thing has shown us that God indeed can answer this kind of prayers. It is not beyond his reach. And then on Saturdays, we have our leadership meeting by 8 a.m. And we're back here on Sunday, 8 o'clock for our Real Success Seminar. We have a coffee break in between. And by 9:30, 9:45, we'll be here for our network service where we'll still be looking into worship. So till we see you next week, stay blessed, stay believing, stay worshiping. Bye. Do not say bye.